14 German Shepherds surrounded a girl. When she raised her hand, they did something amazing. Coming home to see your dog can be the best part of your day. Some people prefer their dogs, or puppies in general, over humans. That's because humans crave unconditional love, which most of the time only dogs can provide. German Shepherds are not the type of dog that every human considers to be their best friend. But look what happens when 14 German Shepherds surround a little girl. When she raised her hand, they did something amazing. Pernille, a 5-year-old girl from Norway, was with her parents in the countryside. At one point, 14 German Shepherds surrounded her as she walked through the tall grass. Normally, parents would be worried to see that many dogs running around their daughter. Most parents would immediately fear the worst and believe their daughter would be in danger. These parents were super easygoing. But when Pernille was with these dogs, her parents were totally confident in the situation. As the dogs ran around the girl, she started throwing grass in the air. Something incredible happened. They couldn't believe it. The dogs started jumping and trying to catch the grass that Pernille had thrown. She threw even more grass as more dogs started jumping to catch it. The dogs never pushed her or were less careful with her around. All the dogs were super sweet and gentle. They might look tough and scary, but they were anything but. These great German Shepherds were as gentle and soft as marshmallows. It was a lovely scene. They seemed to give her the space she needed to run along with them. Considering they're big dogs, it's only natural to keep an eye out first. In that case, the girl's parents had nothing to worry about. Turns out the dogs were from another family member's kennel. Pernille's been with the dogs for a long time and they're friends with her. She loves to play with them in the field and they love to play with her. The dogs knew her very well, so they felt very comfortable with Pernille. That's why she was also very comfortable with them. They had a great bond with each other and loved being around. People often worry about relationships between dogs and children, but in this case, there was definitely nothing to worry about. Pernille was safe with them. She now had a group of protectors around her who happened to be friends with her as well. Dogs are generally considered to be humans' best friends. German Shepherds, on the other hand, are labeled otherwise. They seem to be seen as fearsome and aggressive. This is because people often associate them with the violence they see when a German Shepherd acts as a police dog. But it can also mean that these dogs are great protectors, which makes them even safer. You can count on them. There are also dogs that have been used by bad people who raise them for dogfights. Things like that create a bad image for the German Shepherd. People are often wary of their children when they're around a German Shepherd because they fear the dog will hurt their children. This, however, is just a big misconception. A German Shepherd is a great choice to have around your children. In fact, German Shepherds are great with children. When properly trained, they're very friendly with children and are really loyal and protective at all times. This might sound dangerous, but they won't really hurt a child if they're trained correctly. If Shepherds are not trained properly, they can become overprotective, and this can cause problems. Therefore, it's important that you raise them correctly. There are several stories that prove the fact that German Shepherds are very good with children. Pernille has a special place in her heart for these German Shepherds. They're also very much appreciated by their parents. The story was shared across multiple platforms and received many positive comments. Pernille and her family believed it was important to tell this beautiful story to educate more people about German Shepherds and kind-hearted dogs. Many netizens agreed with the kindness of the German Shepherds. Others also told similar stories about German Shepherds who were great to their children. Some people have said that there are no bad dogs, only bad owners. Your dog's behavior depends on its upbringing. Most people commented on how beautiful they found the story, which completely warmed their hearts. Loki and Tallulah. This is the story of Loki and Tallulah. Tallulah's father says that the two became best friends from the beginning. Loki arrived first in the family. After a year, Tallulah was born. At first, the family was a little worried about how Loki would react to Tallulah, as before she arrived, Loki was the center of attention. With Tallulah's birth, Loki would no longer be the center of attention. The parents were worried that Loki might act negatively and be aggressive towards Tallulah. Fortunately, the dog loved the newborn baby's presence from the start. Tallulah could claim that Loki loved her, and naturally, she loved him back in the same way. The newborn baby was never afraid of Loki. She was excited about him. Tallulah played a big role in the maturing of Loki. Before Tallulah was born, Loki would sometimes misbehave and go places where he wasn't allowed or shouldn't go. He'd stay at the dinner table and wouldn't listen to his owner when he told him to leave the table. This was also one of the reasons the family was concerned at first. What if Loki didn't listen when Tallulah was in danger of something? Fortunately, their worries vanished when the child was born. When Tallulah came into the world, Loki's parental instincts kicked in. It was as if the dog was taking care of its own daughter. Loki knew he needed to be an example to Tallulah, so he started to behave and listen to his owners. The dog took care of the baby as if she were his own. Loki seemed to have realized that he needed to teach Tallulah how to be a good and respectful child. Now they live together as if the dog is one of their children too, instead of just a family pet. Ruby and her best friends. These Bernese mountain dogs from the next story are also this little girl's best friends. Her parents said that as soon as they brought their newborn daughter home from the hospital, their dogs, Big and Lucy, immediately welcomed her like a sister. They had a connection with her from the start. Since then, her parents have described the relationship as a love relationship. Big is a big dog and personal space doesn't seem to exist for him. He's the brother of the two, with Lucy being the sister. Lucy acts more like a woman and takes on the weight of the world. Ruby's parents joke that she's always worried. Lucy and Ruby have more of a mother-daughter relationship. Lucy shows motherly love to Ruby. She could feel when Ruby's mother was pregnant and slept with her throughout her pregnancy, as if she already knew that she'd be taking care of Ruby, as if she were her own daughter too. When Ruby was born, her parents would sometimes find Lucy sleeping in the little girl's bed. It seems the two have a special bond. And then came Sonny, the couple's son. The dogs loved him instantly, and he immediately became part of the pack, as his parents would say. Dogs partially love him because when he eats, he throws his food everywhere. Sonny is a bit unpredictable, though, so they keep an eye on him and the dogs just in case. The family does everything together with the puppies as much as possible. They go camping with him, and then Ruby takes the dogs out for a walk. Being so young, Ruby takes very good care of the dogs, which is impressive to see. Her parents call her a nutritionist as she makes sure the dogs stay hydrated and get enough food. What's refreshing to see is that Ruby doesn't have a favorite dog. She loves Big and Lucy just the same. If one dog gets a treat, the other dog should get it too. Ruby loves taking the dogs for a walk. Her parents say it took Ruby a long time to learn how to put on collars. They one day let her try to hold onto the leashes as the dogs were ready to go for a walk. It was great. The dogs didn't drag her down the street or anything. She felt empowered. When they go on a hike together, Big and Ruby lead the trail. Big walks in front of Ruby to make sure she knows where to walk behind him. Lucy is the one who makes sure the family stays together on the walks. She walks behind her family or next to the last person in line. The children include the dogs in everything. At bedtime, the whole family enters the big tent they've set up and goes to sleep. In the morning, they also wake up together. The kids start petting the dogs and saying good morning. For the parents, it's like having 4 kids instead of 2 dogs and 2 kids. The 4 are almost inseparable. They give the dogs a sense of confidence. Seeing the way Ruby takes care of the dogs and how they take care of her gives a feeling of joy. It's nice to see dogs this big being the kindest creatures we can imagine. So while it may seem scary to let huge dogs around your kids, you should give them a chance to prove that they're as good with them as you are. As we said before, when a dog is treated well, it will also treat his family well. Ruby's love for these dogs is so clear that they would never dream of hurting her. What do you think of German Shepherds? Did this video change your opinion of them? Did you believe they weren't compatible with children? This video probably clarified some questions. We'd love to hear what you have to say about it. Hope you found this video interesting. We'd love to see you back in the comment section of our next video too. Thanks for watching.